It is not good to have more than 3 hard pulls on your credit report. A lot of people say 5. You shouldn't have more than 5. I mean, that's the
Per
across
month?
the board. Per year.
Okay.
Per year, you shouldn't have any more than 3 to 5 inquiries on your credit from someone pulling your credit.
Hard pulls.
Hard pulls.
I am Amelia the Realtor, and welcome to Happily Ever Sold. This is where we talk all things real estate. Hello. I am Amelia the Realtor, and welcome to Happily Ever Sold. This is where we talk all things real estate: buying, selling, renting, investing. We talk about the practical and the business side of real estate, and we combine it all in just one conversation. And today we are concentrating on the C word. What is that word? Credit. It is credit. It is the foundation of whatever you want to start buying, selling, owning. You need decent credit. You need good credit.
Absolutely.
And so today, as promised, I am bringing the experts to you. Today, I'm speaking with Yolanda Watson. She is the president of Abundance Financial Solutions. And I am so excited that she is here with us today. Yolanda, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you please just let us know a little bit about yourself? Tell us about your company and how long you've been in the industry.
Well, my company is Abundance Financial Solution. I've been in business a little bit over 13 years. I have just started working on credit, due to my credit being really, really bad and me not being able to get approved for credit. So I just learned everything that I needed to do. And I learned, I went to some classes, and I'm here. I'm here to educate and to help anyone that's looking to purchase a home, get their credit repaired. I'm just here to educate.
I love that. And I think one of the things too that I can definitely relate to and that I connect with is the fact that you started first on yourself.
I did.
And so you said, hey, let me take a look at me first. And now the knowledge that you've received, you are sharing it with others.
Yes.
And what I have found is in those situations is where our clients, those that we are helping, they get the best help.
Oh, yes.
Because it's personal to us.
It's very personal.
Because I can say that's what got me in the real estate industry and made me decide to become a realtor is because, when I purchased my first home, I was not a real estate agent.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of things I educated myself on the process. And then I was like, hey, I could do this. And I want to do this because I want to help others realize their dream.
Yes.
So I love that.
And that was my passion behind. That's what gave me that drive. Is when I went into a car lot to get a car, and the car was like $12,000, and I wound up paying $27,000 for the car because my credit was so shot. It was horrible. So I said, I got to fix this. And I did it. I got books. I read, and I was the test dummy for myself. And I went from there.
Wow. So knowledge is key.
Knowledge is key.
And so talking about good and bad credit. So what does that look like? Because we hear those terms about good credit, bad credit. So what is that? What do we base that on?
Good credit is, it ranges between 670 and 740. Credit agencies, credit specialists, loan originators, we all have our own opinion on what is good credit and what is bad credit. So it's really up to the lender. If the lender or whomever you're trying to get approved through, they have different thresholds where they say what is good and what is bad. So it's almost like a 580. You can have a 580 and get approved for a home if you're going through a special financing company for that. So it's almost like you really 100% don't know what is good credit and what is bad credit.
Okay.
Honestly.
And that's the reality of
yes,
it. Because
yes.
In some worlds and to some people, 580 is not the best, right?
Correct.
Some people would say it's not the best, but it's not bad.
It's not bad.
So this is this is the truth. And so this is my personal truth.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought my home, I think my score was, I think I just hit around 600.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get a mortgage loan,
Right.
so, other things have to be in place. So I
Other
say that
things.
to say this to all of my future homeowners and my first time home buyers, because you see that number where it is, if you're in the 580s, if you're the 525, sex, if it's 500, like, do not let that discourage you.
Correct.
Start working on it. Look at that and, set your goal and start saying, hey, this is what I have to do. So the number you're talking about, that's our credit score, right?
That is the credit score.
That is our credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And how often is that credit score updated?
Monthly. The credit score is updated monthly, and it also is updated when the lender, credit card lender, homeowner lender, whoever it is, whenever that lender updates your credit history, it's also updated then as well.
Okay. So what are some things that affect that?
We could say your late payments and missed payments always affect your credit score. That's always a negative on the credit score. Your credit utilization over the 30% ratio, and also your credit history, how long you've had credit, affects the credit score as well.
Okay, that's good to know, because I know sometimes you'll miss a payment and say, oh, well, I just can't pay it. I'll pay it a day late. I'll pay it 2 days late. But that, what you're saying is that is a huge effect. It has a huge effect.
Oh, yes. That is 35% of your credit score.
Wow.
It is 35% of the credit score. And again, everybody have their own, percentage but 35% is, really across the board. 35% late payments are the worst that you can have. And I always tell my clients, if you can just make the minimum payment, just make the minimum payment, and then later on try to make more payments, because the late payments will hit you harder than anything.
Wow.
It doesn't give the lenders confidence that you're able to manage money when you have late payments.
Wow. Can you manage your money?
Can you manage? And that's what they're looking at.
So it's more than just, can you pay the mortgage? Because you may be able to pay the mortgage, but just being able to pay, but can you manage your money? Like, I almost think of it as when the bank is giving you this loan, it's like they're entrusting you with this loan. Like, of course you're borrowing it. So they want to know, like, are you going to be making these payments back in a timely fashion?
In a timely fashion.
Like, hey, we're giving you this, but we want it back. Can you pay it? Not just one time, but consistently.
Correct.
Interesting. That is good information. So how can I get my credit score? So I'm thinking, I hear you saying, okay, look at my credit score. Tell me, for those who is new to this, where would I go to get that information?
The first place that I would recommend you to go to pull your credit report is freecreditreport.com.
Okay.
And they give you all 3 of your credit reports. So you can print that out. You can, look over it, print it out, hold on to it. And if you have any incorrect information on your credit or anything that's not yours, it's always good for you to go ahead and dispute it. But that will be the start. The start would be pulling your credit report, seeing what's on your credit report, and correcting those things that are there.
Okay, and you said 3.
That
Can
would
you
be
expound a little bit on that?
That would be TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian.
Awesome. So what Ms. Watson is telling us, those are the 3 major credit reporting agencies. And is it the same across the board? Will the score be the same?
No, the credit score will not be the same. And the reason that the credit score will not be the same is because each lender have a credit report and bureau that they send their credit report to. So it'll never be across the board the same. So you can have a car loan through Santander, and Santander only reports to Equifax. So, and they don't report to the other 2. So that would make the credit score not be the same across the board.
Okay. So does one hold more weight than others? So let's just say, because our focus is real estate, buying and selling homes, right? So when I'm going in to secure a mortgage loan, which one would the loan officer be looking at? What is the bank looking at the most? Is it Equifax? Is it TransUnion?
Well, they look at all three.
Okay.
They do look at all three, but the credit score that they look at is a little different than what we see on our end. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's called the factual data, or a factual credit score that they really look into to see what it is.
Okay, so it is a lot going into this score.
Yeah,
so
it is.
We want to make sure, like, on-time payments. We
On-time
want to make
payments.
sure that we are. Let's talk about credit cards, because I know from personal experience and as I speak to potential homeowners that that's usually where a lot of us are affected is
Absolutely.
credit card use.
Oh yeah, that is like the number one thing that I try to focus in when I'm dealing with my clients. Is I just don't do credit restoration.
Okay.
I also walk my clients through financial freedom, just to make sure that they understand their credit and having credit cards, and just teaching them that making sure that utilization on the credit card is under that 30% is very, very, very important to making sure your credit score is maintained at a good, healthy credit score. Those credit cards, a lot of people feel as though they have to go out and get a whole lot of credit cards to make their credit, make their credit score increase, which they do not. Just maintaining your utilization, making sure your payments are done on time will make your credit score go up.
All right. So see, that was a tip right there.
Yeah. And one more. And to make sure that you are always getting a credit increase every 100 days. People don't know that. If they don't give it to you, you should be calling and requesting it.
Do you have your notebooks, Happily Ever Sold family? Because you just got some real for free credit tips right there from Ms. Watson. So she said, make sure you're making your payments on time, right? Paying the minimum balances.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are getting a credit increase.
Yes.
Increase in your credit limit every
100 days.
Every
You should be
100
getting a
days.
credit. Yes. You should be getting a credit increase every 100 days. Whether it's $200, whether it's $500, whatever it is, you should be getting an increase on your credit cards.
But that's barring that you're making those payments on time. And you
Absolutely, yes. You definitely have to be
making
making
your
the
minimum
payments
payment, right?
Yes. The payments must be made on time.
Okay,
that
family,
is for sure.
Don't not pay your credit card bill, and in 100 days you're going and asking the lender for more money. It's not going to work.
It's not going to happen at all.
We didn't tell you to do that.
No, we're not telling you to do that. Make your payments on time. Keep that credit utilization down. And then you go ahead and request those credit limits.
Credit utilization. What is that?
Just maintaining. If you have a credit card that is $500, you want to make sure that you don't get really close to the limit of $500. You don't want to spend more than $150 on a $500 credit card. So anytime that I'm dealing with my clients, I always let them know whatever your credit limit is, 30% of that, you should not go over that. If you go over that, that is a problem. Your credit score will drop.
And what I found even more recently is that like 30% is probably what people say the most.
Yeah.
But I'm finding, like, to get the best rates and not to guarantee approval, but to be closer to approval, like 10%.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to have more than 10% utilized on your credit card.
That is true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to be, safe.
It's absolutely, yes.
To where you're not really like, pinching pennies, and they're like, having to bring all this extra money to the table and different things like that. So 10% probably to be the safe zone.
I like that.
Yeah.
I thank you for that. So now that I can definitely let my clients know, let's shoot for 10%, not 30. That's because that's comfortable. So that would be good.
Especially when you're looking for you're looking to buy a home,
yes.
because it's a huge purchase. It's different than buying a car, and that's big too.
Yeah.
But buying a home, you want to make sure that your debt to credit utilization numbers is very, very low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Good information.
So you spoke about making sure that information on my credit report is correct,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And so I'm thinking about Name, address, those type of things.
Absolutely.
What is there two I guess it's a two-part question. What
Hmm.
other things should I be looking at for accuracy? And what do I do if I find something incorrect?
Okay. So if there is any, when you're looking at your credit report, you want to make sure everything on the credit report is correct. You want to make sure that your name, your date of birth, your current address is correct. And you want to make sure when with your current address, you want to make sure there's nothing else on the credit report, no other old addresses or that's incorrect information because you no longer live at those addresses. So not only, that you want to make sure that you're looking at the collections on your account and making sure that those collections on the account belongs to you. If they do not belong to you, or if anything on the credit report is incorrect, you want to go ahead and dispute it. You want to dispute it, and I do not recommend anybody disputing online. It kind of take away the rights of disputing.
Really?
Yes.
So I know a lot of times that's what happens. You have the little clicky
Oh,
boxes and it says, "Hey, dispute," and you just kind of click and you put in your information and they say, "Hey, we're going to look at it and
mhm.
then we'll get back with you in whatever the time period is." So you're saying don't do it that way.
Do not
You
do it that
recommend
way.
not to do it
I
that way.
recommend you not to do it that way. If that's the only way you can do it, and you want to dispute, yes, but I highly recommend you do not dispute online.
Mm.
Do not dispute
And why is
online.
that?
It just takes away some rights.
Okay. Okay.
It takes away consumer rights.
Takes away consumer rights. If you
Yes.
want more of that information, you're gonna have to sit down personally
Oh
and talk
yeah.
to Miss Watson. She's gonna be happy to, delve a little bit deeper in that.
Oh
So,
yeah.
okay, so we want to look at that information. And so I always thought, like, even with my previous addresses,
Hmm.
that it was just the way that they are verifying my identity.
No,
It shouldn't be on there.
it should not be on
Only
there.
my current address should be on
Only
there.
your current address should be on there.
That is great
Only your
information.
current phone number should be on there. Only your current job should be on there. Anything else, it should not be on your credit report.
Interesting. That is another tip, and I am making a mental note for myself. And again, we're going to go over that. Miss Watson said to go to freecreditreport.com,
Yes.
and I have another one for you as well, annualcreditreport.com. That is a good one also, and that one is through the government, and
Mhm.
they allow you to pull a copy of your credit report from each of the three agencies
Mhm.
once or twice a year. I think it's two times a year, and download it, save it. It's the full report, so that's another option for you as well. Just like freecreditreport.com, there's no subscription or anything required.
Mhm.
But what happened is because of the rise in identity theft, and I don't
Mhm.
and I know you remember a few years ago when you had that huge rash of the companies and different things, their information being hacked.
Yes, yes.
So the gut.
Equifax just actually had one
Mm-hmm.
maybe about a year ago. A big
Yes.
breach,
So that
huge breach.
prompted, the Department of Revenue and our government to be like, hey, we need to allow access to the consumer to have this
Mhm.
information at no cost.
Right. And since COVID has been going on, they are allowing you to monitor your credit with annual credit report
Mhm.
and free credit report as much as you like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good information. That is
Hmm.
great information. How long do items stay on my credit?
Um, late payments, missed payments, collections, they usually stay on the credit for about 7 years.
Okay. Okay. And so, does it automatically fall off? Now, this is something that it's almost like an urban legend is what I'm going to call it, because you would hear like, that's okay because 7 years it's going to be gone. 7 years it's coming off. I'm
That's
not
a
going to pay that
long
because 7
time.
years it's coming off. Does it automatically fall off? Does everything automatically fall off at 7 years? Help the people, Miss Yolanda, and tell us what is the truth.
No, it does not automatically falls off. You would have to fight them or dispute. I'm not going to say fight. I'm just a bully, so I'm a credit bully. So that's something that those are terms
that's
that I
your
use.
job. We're hiring you to fight. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it does not. It does not come off automatically. It's something that you would have to dispute to come off. I mean, as long as they can hold it on and you're not monitoring your credit, as long as they hold it on, the longer they keep your credit down, the more money they make. And it's just a cycle that keeps going and keeps going. So it does not.
So I've seen where something was, let's say, quote unquote, scheduled to fall off, and it was actually renewed back on the report. Mm-hmm. Why does that happen?
Well, it's a few things that can make that happen. Mm-hmm. And one would be if the collection agency reached out to you and you spoke to the collection agency, or you agreed to make payments, or you agreed that the the collection is yours, then it'll start it back over.
Wow. Interesting. Mm-hmm.
And also when they sell the loan, if they sell it to another collection agency because they were not able to collect it, then it'll start back over.
It will start back over there.
Against the law, but it'll start back over.
And it is against the law.
That's where
this is what we do at Happily Ever Sold. We bring you the experts. You need to get a credit bully in your life.
Yes.
And Miss Yolanda saying she is a credit bully. So she is here to bully all of
the credit bureaus.
All the credit bureaus to get you straight.
Yes.
And then once she does that, come on over to me.
And get that house,
and
baby.
Get that house.
Yes.
And this is what we're doing in this season.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
2022, we're bullying the credit bureaus.
Yes.
And then we're buying homes.
And we're buying homes.
Okay. I love it. I love the plan already. So let's talk about, since we are talking about buying a home, we talked about good and bad credit. How can bad credit affect me as in the home buying process? So I'm a first-time home buyer or second time buying my second home or investment property. If I have bad credit, how can that possibly affect me? Whether it be from, I don't know, interest rates, loan amounts.
And that's exactly what it will. It will affect if you would get approved for the loan, and also it would definitely affect your interest rates on how good of an interest rate that you would get when you purchase the home.
Wow. So it can make the difference between, maybe that single family home with a 2-car garage, maybe that 4 or 5 bedrooms, to me maybe having to get maybe just the 2-bedroom townhouse.
Exactly.
Okay.
No privacy, and it can go on and on from there.
Okay. So and interest rates, right?
Yes, the interest rates will definitely. Yeah, if your credit is bad, the interest rates will be affected.
So that would cause me to have a higher interest rate on my loan.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors, and I've even seen that, where just the whole, like the closing process is delayed.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's another thing. Sometimes just because you're pre-approved for a certain amount, don't go out and buy your furniture for your home. Don't go get your new car to put in your car's 2-car garage. Yes. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you haven't closed yet. So I've even seen deals that, the bank almost rescinded because, all of a sudden the finances were out of whack.
I had one
lack of a better term.
I had one about a month ago. Wow. And she cried and I cried too. And it was so silly what she did, but it was a learning experience. Again, we're going to go back at it again. Wow. And we're going to fix it, and she's going to get her house.
Wow.
That is my goal. I'm going to make sure she gets her house.
She's going to be in that house.
Oh, she's going to be in it.
Wow. So you want to be smart. I mean, I always say every decision, every financial decision, there are, it's cause and effect. It's how you do it, how you start out, now you can shift the dynamic. Even now, if you're thinking to yourself, man, my score 400, there's nothing that I can do. No. There's a lot that you can do even at 400 right now.
Right.
Again, we spoke about this in a previous show of mine. Get on a budget. Evaluate your finances, your frivolous spending. What are some things you can cut out? Maybe you can't do it on your own and you do have to hire a credit bully.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
But also there's some things that you can do on your own, right? By just monitoring your credit report.
Not overspending. live within your means. And I say that a lot. And it's not that I say it to make you feel bad or anything like, and I always tell, live within your means. And if you do not have the money in the bank account to pay for what you want to pay for, you should not purchase it on a credit card. And that is my thing that I always tell people.
But Miss Yolanda,
Talk
the
to me.
Joneses live 2 doors down. They got that Tesla, and it is fire. I have to go check that out. I want that.
No, ma'am, you can't do that. You cannot try to keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses will leave you and you will be looking really, really silly because of the decisions that you're making. And, I tell people, make decisions for the future, not for the now. That is very, very, very important. The things that you do now will cause an effect on you in the future. So just try to make the right decision in your credit and spending on your credit card and just doing things. You got to be careful. You got to be very, very mindful of that credit, because that credit is everything. It's worth more than money.
Tell me, for the person that says, like, I'm a little overwhelmed. I don't know how to start, where to start. How would they consider obtaining your services? Like, in what aspects? Tell me a little bit about the process. So I have someone that's coming to you. Tell me how does that look? How does that process look? Like, what do I do? Just like say, hey, I need a bully in my life.
Yeah. So, basically what they do is they just give me a call. I do a quick review of their credit. Once I look at their credit, I kind of put together a plan on what it is that they need to have done, whether they work with me or not. That's one thing that I do. I do look at the credit and I do let you know, hey, this is something that I see here that needs to be taken care of first before you start the credit process. Because when you start the credit process, you got to be careful with it, because if you start it and you have your credit utilization is through the roof, and you have collections that I am fighting, or incorrect information on the credit report that I am fighting, it's not going to improve because of your credit utilization. So I always tell my clients to make sure, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start working on those credit cards, and then we're going to follow up with each other in a few more months, or whenever you feel like you got it under control, we'll follow up. I'll look at the credit again, and then we go from there.
Okay. And so do you kind of evaluate what goals they have? Like,
yes.
What are they looking to do?
Yes, that's my first question. I'm sorry.
No, and
yes.
just kind of, because I don't know, so that's what I'm
yes.
asking.
Yes.
And then say, okay, so maybe you need the more aggressive plan, or you need to, you want to buy a house in a year, and so you need to be checking in with me every 3 weeks.
Yes.
How does that work, or it's just kind of one plan throughout? Are there different tiers?
It's different tiers. It's different tiers, because certain people come to me and they only need a few things done on their credit. So it's different. It's different. Plans that I have that I offer to my clients.
Okay.
And they are different.
Yes.
They are very different, and and I mix them up a little bit here and there. But when you come to me and I look at it and I say, hey, this would be the best plan for you. If there's something that you want to do, we move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in your services, tell me, we spoke about disputing. What is that something that you do?
I do.
Tell me some of the things that you do as a credit specialist.
God, gee, you just got me just now.
So I know you review the report
yes,
with your clients.
Yes, I review the report.
Yes.
And once I review the report, I dissect it.
Okay.
I dissect it a little bit, and then so I'll correct the incorrect inquiries on the report. I will remove the inquiries, and then I focus on the late payments, and if they have any collections, I go for the collections. And then it's a step-by-step process that I go through to clear up the credit.
That's interesting, because I remember you told us that we don't want to talk to the creditors. We don't want to talk to them.
Oh, no.
But yet you know how to get those removed.
Oh, yes. I know how to do it. Consumer laws. It's a little deeper, but it's consumer laws.
Consumer laws. That is good. So let's talk about something that I've seen a few people do, and you can let me know if this is good, bad, if this is
Ugly.
something that we should do,
Yeah.
should stay away from. Me personally, I've always kind of stayed away from it. Like,
Mhm.
but anyway, co-signing a loan for someone, being a co-signer on a car. I'm gonna say a car loan because I've seen that the most.
Oh,
People
yeah.
do that. Is that a smart thing to do?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Mm,
Co-signing for anything, it's not good at all. I mean, it could be good and it could be bad, but I recommend you do not co-sign for anything, on anything, with anyone. It's a negative and it's a positive. The positive could be that person could make good credit, could make the their payments on
mhm.
time to improve, to make the credit looks really good and healthy. And then, of course, the negative, they're not making their payments on time. Your credit score is going to drop as well.
So as a co-signer, are you saying I'm responsible for that? So what if they
Absolutely.
start paying? If they stop paying, are
The
is the
lender
creditor
is
able to
going to
come?
come after you. You are signing over that to say that if this person do not pay, I am responsible for the balance or whatever is due to you.
Have you seen situations where it that has happened and a co-signer has tried to fight it to say
Yes.
this is not my car, it's not my. How does that
Very
usually turn
difficult.
out?
Very difficult. It's very difficult because in order for that person to get that car, you had to have signed the papers to say that you're going to co-sign for that person.
And I ask these questions because it is something that happens very commonly
It's
because we
very
have,
common.
family members and friends and we want to help, we all want to win, but down the line, things kind of go bad and
Yeah.
at the moment we don't really think about our plans for the future. In the
Mhm.
moment we may not think about like I want to buy a home in 5 years or I want to buy a home in 10 years, and we start the process at that time and then these things come up.
Right.
You guys might not even be friends anymore. You may not even be in contact with this person or whatever the case may be. The car probably has been sold like
Exactly.
and out of the picture, but this thing is on your report. So now you're with your credit specialist or
Mhm.
you are in the bank and they're like, "Hey, you have this major delinquency of this car loan that your name is on and your social is tied to, and it's come back." It's
Yes.
like a bad ex-boyfriend that
It
just
is
popped back in the
bad.
picture.
It is bad. It is bad, and it is difficult for a credit specialist to have that removed. It can be removed. It definitely can be removed, but it is a process for us to take the steps to have that removed.
Mm. Do you also work with people who have like bankruptcies and
Yes.
foreclosures
Yes.
on their report?
Mhm.
I know that that is something that does hinder some people,
Uh-huh.
a lot of people,
A lot of
from
people.
buying again,
Mhm.
stepping back, or maybe if they have a bankruptcy buying for the first time, or if they've had a foreclosure buying, something else, it really can discourage people. So is that possible to get removed, and is that what you do?
Yeah, it is possible to get
Okay,
removed.
all right.
It is definitely possible to get removed. Is it a challenge? Yes, it's a challenge. But you find that right credit specialist to help you out, they will try everything in their power to make sure it gets removed. It can be removed.
Once you start that process, as kind of approximately how long can that take to see that get removed? And I know every situation is different.
Yes.
The nit and gritty of it is different. What have you seen? What is kind of like the shortest time you've seen and the longest?
I've actually seen some people get bankruptcies, like, some of
Hmm.
my friends get bankruptcy removed in 3 months.
Okay.
3 months. It took me 6 months to get a bankruptcy removed from a credit report.
Okay.
And it took a lot of me going back and forth with the creditor and the credit bureau to get that removed. So usually, I'm going to say for me, 6 months to a year to have
Wow.
that removed.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well, that's not bad.
It's not bad.
Because I've seen, I've seen too where people it's been years.
Mhm.
And sometimes, and I don't know if you would agree, it's just the fact that it is a hard thing for people to face.
Yeah.
That they have to do that. They've been through that. It's kind of embarrassment. I know
Yeah.
even when we have this talking about credit, some people they're in the situation they are because they just don't want to face it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, my credit is low. I don't even want to deal with it.
I have a lot of
And
those.
you do?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I just try to tell them, you got to change the mindset. You got to change your mind. You got to renew the mind and say that it was something that happened. It was a mistake that happened. It's nothing I can do about it. But what I can do is I can pick up the pieces and I can move forward. And sooner or later, you'll be able to purchase another home. So you definitely, it's just words of, I just try to encourage a lot of people to keep going. Again, when I first started, I was at like probably a 470. It was really bad.
Wow.
So, I just try to encourage everybody to just don't give up. It's not worth giving up on.
How long was your process in repairing your own credit from where you started and where you are now?
It took me about 2 years.
Okay.
It took me about 2 years because I was learning everything. So it was trial and error during the process, of me repairing my own credit. Okay. And once I finished within those 2 years, I was pretty good.
What were some of the things that helped you the most to where you saw major impacts?
Credit utilization. That credit utilization and making sure I pay my payments on time was major. Okay. Was major. The collections, they were major, but that credit utilization and making sure I was paying my payments on time, that helped. That helped.
Now, I want you to be thinking, I have a question, but in the meantime, I do want you to think because before we end this segment, I want like a hack or two. Like, give me a little credit hack. Something that the people, I like to give the people a little this, a little that, can do. Like they can even just do this on their own to maybe see, maybe a point, quarter of a point change. So think about that. My other question is, I've seen this before. I've heard this, and tell me if this is an urban myth or not. We pay these subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, all these different things, right? We have this, we're paying this monthly. It's automatically being drafted out of our account, right? And even rent for those that are still renting, right?
Oh,
some of our landlords and have those that drafted our account. Can I get credit for any of these things? Because I'm paying this stuff on time. My people want to know, like, Netflix is getting their money on time every month. They just take it.
Yeah. It is a company out there that you can get an app. I cannot think of it right now, but it is an app that you can get, that you can put all your subscriptions and everything in there, and they will report it to the credit report. I cannot think of the name right now, but it is an app out there.
All right.
When I get it, I will definitely reach out to you so we can let the people know.
We're going to let the people know how you can get credit for your subscriptions and all of that. Rent as well. Like can you get any type of, let's say, cool points for paying your rent on time? Can that affect your credit score?
I mean, it won't affect your credit score, but yes, you can get some cool points for it. You can. I know Experian has a program called Boost that you can add your accounts on, and it'll boost your credit every time. So they check it monthly, and when they check it, they will increase your credit every time they see that the bill has been paid. It can't affect it in a negative way, but it only affect it in a positive way.
Okay.
And that's a 50-50.
Okay. That's good information. That's good to know. And let's talk about when people do checks on my credit for like cell phones, cell phone plans, different things like car insurance. Does that affect my credit score? Because I just need you to put your social right here. We're just checking if you need to put down a down payment or not. And these new phones come out, they're real
tempting.
Nice. It's tempting. But does it affect my credit report?
No, it doesn't.
It does not.
It does not. If it's a soft pull. Now, well, with the cell phones, if it's a hard pull, if you're with the company already, then it will not affect because it's a soft pull. But if you're new to the company, most of the time it's a hard pull, and it will affect the credit score between 2 and 5 points.
Okay, so if I'm going to repeat that. So a soft pull would be you already have credit established with the company.
With the company.
A credit account, charge account established with the company.
Yes.
So if they are just kind of re-looking at offers.
Or increasing that credit limit.
Limit.
It's a soft pull.
It's a soft pull. All right. So that doesn't negatively affect me.
No.
Hard pull is when I'm establishing an account for the first time.
Yes. With that company for the first time, that will affect the credit.
Okay. And if I have too many of those?
Oh, yes. It would definitely affect the credit.
Okay.
It is not good. It is not good to have more than 3 hard pulls on your credit report. A lot of people say 5. You shouldn't have more than 5. I mean, that's across the board. Per year.
Okay.
Per year, you shouldn't have any more than 3 to 5 inquiries on your credit from someone pulling your credit.
Hard pulls.
Hard pulls.
Wow. So that's establishing a new credit card. If I'm, furnishing my home, with the company for the first time, all of that.
Yes.
No more than 3 to 5 hard pulls a year.
A year. Because it stays on the credit for a year to 2 years. A year to 2 years.
Wow. I don't know if I ever had anyone tell me that. Yeah. That is great information. Yeah. Now, I know we talk about soft pulls, but is there a range that we should minimize the soft pulls?
I've never even had that question asked. I don't want to give you the wrong answer,
right. So
but
hard pulls is the ones
hard
to
pulls
really
are the ones that I would definitely focus on more than I would soft pulls. I get offended when a person asks me about my credit, about my Social Security.
Okay.
That offends me. When you ask me, I don't care what it is. Like, I'm a consumer. Ask me for my social. What do you need my social for? There's other things that you can ask me for to determine whether I can get this or get that.
So we don't
a home, yes, but
certain other things we do not have to resort just to the Social Security number.
Absolutely not.
All right. So see, this is why you need a credit bully.
Yes.
You need to know a credit bully because, we just can't give our Social Security number out all willy-nilly.
Nope, not at all.
Oh.
That is, you guard that credit and your Social Security number like you guard your heart and anything and everything that you love, because once that get out and once it, you gotta just guard it. That is something that I tell my clients, that credit is everything. And when you let the credit go bad, this is what the lenders look at when they pull your credit. They looking at they don't know you. Mm-hmm. They're looking at your credit and they're basing your credit on everything. So if your credit is healthy, that give them the confidence that you're able to pay it back. But when your credit is poor, it's more of, can this person pay me back? Can I trust this person? So you always want to make sure you have healthy credit.
Wow. Always make sure you have healthy credit.
Yeah,
and with that being said, I do want to go over again because you gave us the range of we talked about good versus bad credit. Mm-hmm. So if there was like a red, green, yellow, right? Red being, let's say, bad credit range, yellow, mid-range, and green, good range. Can you give us those ranges?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red would be 300 to 579.
Okay.
Yellow would be 580, 740.
Okay.
And then you would go from 740 to 850 would be green.
Okay.
Would be the highest of the highest.
Do you know a lot of people with 850 credit scores?
I do not.
Is it possible?
It is possible.
Okay.
But I have not. In all the years that I have been repairing credit, and I have not. The closest I've seen is a 820.
Okay.
Close.
But
I have not seen an 850.
All right.
I am dying to see
an
850.
That's a challenge. Where are the 850s at?
Let us know where
we want to see you. We want to talk to you.
Yes.
And so one more thing, Ms. Watson, what's a credit hack for us? What's a hack? What can we do to maybe boost our score, our credit score, 1 or 2 points? What can we do on our own?
Ooh, that's a good one. What can you do?
You told us about paying on time. You told us, go ahead.
That would be it. Just making the payments on time. That is the only thing that I can actually think of right
Pay
now.
your bills on
Paying the
time.
bills on time would be the hack that I would tell everybody to focus on. That's a hack for me. Pay the bill on time. Pay the bill on time.
And if you can't pay more,
pay the minimum.
Okay.
If you cannot pay more, when the due date is there, pay the minimum balance that is due. Whatever minimum they tell you to pay, make sure you pay that. That is very important to make sure that you do not have a late payment or a missed payment on the credit. Because sometimes what they'll do is they'll tell you that you have 5 days after your grace, after your paid 5 days after when the payment is due, and they won't report it to the credit until until you go and dispute it. Because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen numerous of times. Oh, I was late, but they didn't report it to my credit. When I pulled the credit the first time, no late payments on the credit. So now when I'm disputing the balance on the credit, this is not the accurate balance. Now they put all the late payments on it. So even though they say you got a 5-day grace period or you have a 10-day grace period, don't do that, because it's going to come back and bite you. It's definitely going to come back and bite you. I've seen it happen too many times.
Wow. This has been so informative. Listen, we're on a journey to 850 credit score.
850.
Happily ever so. We want the 850, right? Thank you very much, Ms. Watson from Abundant Financial Solutions. I thank you for coming and talking with me today. And Happily Ever Sold, thank you for joining us again for another edition, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am Amelia the Realtor, and welcome to Happily Ever Sold. This is where we talk all things real estate.